intelligence. The Lord. Ashaya, those who are under the shelter of. Translation, please can you responsibly repeat? This is the divinity of the personality of God. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature. Even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. Papa, please can you listen attentively? In Vedas and Vedic literatures, Shruti and Smriti, it is apparent that in the divinity there is nothing material. It is transcendental, Nigu, the supreme cognizant. Hari, or the personality of God, is the supreme transcendental person, situated beyond the range of material affection. These statements are also confirmed even by Acharya Shankara. One may argue that his relation with the goddesses of fortune may be transcendental. But what about his relation with the Yadu dynasty, being born in that family, or his killing the non-believers like Jarasandha and other asuras directly in contact with the modes of material nature? The answer is that the divinity of the personality of Godhead is never in contact with the qualities of material nature in any circumstance. Actually, he is in contact with such qualities because he is the ultimate source of everything. Yet he is above the actions of such qualities. He is known, therefore, as Yogeshwara, or the master of mystic power, or in other words, the all-powerful. Even his learned devotees are not affected by the influence of the material world. The great six Goswamis of Vrindavan all came from greatly rich and aristocratic families. But when they adopted the life of mendicants at Vrindavan, superficially they appeared to be in wretched conditions of life. But factually, they were the richest of all in spiritual values. Such Mahabhagavats, or first great devotees, although moving among men, are not contaminated by honor or insult, hunger or satisfaction, sleep or wakefulness, which are all resultant actions of the three modes of material nature. Similarly, some of them are engaged in worldly dealings, yet are unaffected. Unless these neutralities of life are there, one cannot be considered situated in transcendence. Unless these neutralities of life are there, one cannot be considered situated in transcendence. The divinity and its associates are on the same transcendental plane, and their glories are always sanctified by the action of Yoga Maya, or the internal potency of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord are always transcendental, even if they are sometimes found to have fallen in their behavior. The Lord emphatically declares in the Bhagavad Gita 9:30 that even if an unalloyed devotee is found to be fallen due to previous material contamination, he is nevertheless to be accepted as fully transcendental because of his being engaged 100% in devotional service of the Lord. The Lord protects him always because of his rendering service unto him. And the following conditions are to be considered accidental and temporary. They will vanish in no time. Come again. So, yeah. So, yeah. Sakso, the time, then it's fine. See, Gorabe, Suchetayam and all this time, Stafeta, Yenufu, Tale, Swayam, Muka, Kadamaya, Kadataswa, Kadantakam. Vandesi, Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodita, Godadai, Puskavanto, Chitu Chamutami. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Kadata, Sri Vasan, Sri Gaura. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vittanta. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravan Charine Nirvishesa Sanyabhadata Sacha. Panchakalpataribhyacha Kripasindhya Yuvacha Patutana Pavyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. So, this is the divinity of the personality of God. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material. So, the spider, you know the spider? Spider, you know the spider. You know spider? Spider. Spider, that insect that creates, no, is that the one? The one that makes webs. Huh? That is the name, right? It makes webs and insects fly in and then they get entangled. He created the web. He doesn't get entangled. He is in contact with the web. The web is coming from him. But he doesn't get entangled in the web. Spider, a product of material nature, has that type of power. The spider is more powerful than even human beings. Human beings create atomic bomb. They can't say, I'm not going to be affected by the atomic bomb if it's detonated here. The spider created his atomic bomb, detonates it himself. And other insects, they become entangled. He's aloof. He's there to eat them up. So that gives us some insight about this whole text that, people may wonder, like Prabhupada makes some relevant question there, posing a relevant question. Yeah, we may say, Krishna, his relationship with the goddesses of fortune is transcendental. But what about his killing of Jarasandha and other demons? So Prabhupada explains that the law is liquid. The permutations of the modes of nature in mathematics, that's what we call permutation, or precisely additional mathematics. It's what we call permutations. And permutation is always very difficult. Of course, people don't like mathematics. How many people here are doing their PhD in mathematics? You're doing your PhD in mathematics. Okay. He used to be feared. Because mathematics, people run away from mathematics, okay? Uh, I had, uh, one of my friend's daughters, she just graduated in first class honors in mathematics. The parents are not, you know, literate people. So they don't know the value of that. First class honors in mathematics. So I told her, hey, go and prepare. I'm looking forward to calling you doctor. Go for your master's and go for your PhD. Uh, so someone who study mathematics, they know what is permutation. It's very difficult. And the qualities of life are due to the permutations of the three modes of material nature. Like here, the mode of goodness, permutation of the mode of goodness, mode of passion and ignorance produce a particular result. Permutation of the mode of passion and ignorance produce a particular result. A combination or admixture of, and these things are explained vividly in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam by Krishna himself. So the Lord is Nirguna, is not affected by these different permutations which bring about the different qualities of life, qualities of material life. When we find people who are apparently very good and they get involved in abominable activities, that is due to the permutations of the three gunas. They may be operating on the level, on the platform of the mode of goodness. But you see, the modes of nature, the permutations don't have respect for anybody. They don't honor anybody. They don't worship them. Who are you? They don't have any object of worship. The modes of nature don't have any object of worship. So as far as we are embodied souls, the permutation goes on because the three modes of nature are vying for supremacy. They are trying to see who is in charge. Like politicians, okay? They're struggling. So this is how the whole world is operated by the permutations of the three gunas. But because Lord Krishna is Nirguna, is all cognizance, is beyond the gunas. Is not affected by the permutations of the gunas. Just like this spider is not affected by the effect of his own web on the environment. So the conditioned soul is different from the Lord, and the pure soul, they operate on the same plane with the Lord. They are not also affected. Papa gives the example of the those families of the Or another good example is Divyamangal Thakur. He was even blind, but he was not affected by his blindness. Krishna will come with milk to serve him. Krishna personally will come to serve Divyamangal Thakur with milk. And then Divyamangal, he knows that this is Krishna. So one day he tried to catch hold of his hand, and Krishna disappeared. So although he was blind, he was not affected by his blindness. If we are blind, we cannot function. We just be lamenting and cursing God, cursing Krishna. Hey Krishna, what is this? I've been serving you all this number of years, all these decades. You made me blind. What is this? Are you really God? So The pure soul is operating on the same plane with the Lord. They are not affected. They may be in sickly body. Look at the case of Japataka Swami. I had dengue and I couldn't function. In fact, in Vrindavan, I almost gave up the ghost. But the boy who was helping me said, I mean, I was not conscious of the environment anymore. He was scared. That is dengue. It depletes your blood cells, your platelets. So we are embodied souls. We get affected by the condition of the material environment, the condition of the good, health condition, impact on our behavior. So it is important to understand that, yes, we may say, well, Krishna also had headache. He told his devotees to bring the dust from their feet. And some of them refused. But the gopis, they said, what? Krishna needs the dust from our feet to get cured of his headache. Take it. And the messenger said, do you know what you're doing? Hey, you go to hell. If the dust from your feet touches Krishna's head, you go to hell, boy. They say, we don't care. Going to hell, so what? This is going to cure Krishna's headache. Take it. We're ready to go to hell. See the consciousness? Is it to please Krishna? If it is to please Krishna, the pure devotee is willing to do anything. I mean, somebody, responsible guy, in Delhi. So his wife first came to me with this person. The child came to me, I was asking. The parents are not following anything. They travel here and there, go to Vrindavan all the time. I was just meeting the boy, small boy, 13 years or 12 years or so. He comes to the temple all the time. So imagine a situation where just a small boy, my concern was, so he has a good desire to be involved, to practice devotional life. But here is a big obstacle, the parents. And the father is a reputed lawyer, high court lawyer. But anybody comes. So, sometimes we play around with the opportunities available at our disposal, especially children from devotional families. And therefore, Krishna allows some obstacles to come our way to test our faith. We want Krishna or we want something else. But the boy is persistent. He comes. So somehow or the other, I met with his parents. In fact, his father took me to the airport. So the wife was asking me, when we got to the airport, what's your instruction for us? I said, take good care of this boy. Facilitate his devotional life. It's not to ask instructions that is the issue. It's to follow the instructions. I told him. Are you here to take care of this boy? They said, yes. I said, you're promising me. And you have to execute it. You asked. I didn't ask you anything. You asked, what is our instruction for us? So there are so many souls who are having different challenges on the planet. And the challenges are different. But we should not be unduly influenced by the challenges, by the external challenges. The Prabhupada gives the example of the six Goswamis. They come from very highly reputable aristocratic families. Some of them are top class, high profile government workers. And then they choose to be medicals, devotional medicals. And sometimes people think that when you don't have anything to do, then you take science, right? I mean, it's like my Assam friend who told me that when he told his professor about me, and then he said, "Come on, why is he destroying his career? Being a Swami with a PhD, what is this?" It's a, so people don't know the ultimate goal of human life, and they are also unaware of the objective criteria for achieving that goal. So that we have our own petty goals, small goals. So what is the ultimate goal of life? People don't know. That the pure souls, they understand the ultimate goal of life. The six Goswamis, for instance, they understand the goal of life. And they took shelter of Krishna. They took shelter of Krishna. What is that? Water. What happened? What? Huh? Take water. All right. So, six Goswamis are very prominent in our discipline succession. Even in the conference in Delhi, there's a philosophy of Vaishnava Vedanta conference. And these devotees who organized that program, they did a lot of work, and people came from, different backgrounds. I saw so many young doctors, so many young doctors from other traditions. So many of them. Anybody, they came to me and we are talking. I asked, where are you from? What is your status? Dr. Such, Dr. Such, Professor Such, Professor Such. They're young boys in their 30s. Yeah. So people are yearning for spiritual life. And sometimes it's overwhelming to become involved in spiritual life. Sometimes we have so many challenges to deal with, and the challenges seem to overwhelm us. But we should understand that what there is nothing good that comes easy. There is nothing good in this world that comes easy. Even for those, meet all these devotees who have done their PhD or who are doing their PhD, it's very challenging. But by the time they finish, they become like the devatas on the planet. Oh yeah. And then they have two dandas. One spiritual danda and material danda. Uh, so, and I saw also some of these spiritual leaders from other traditions, from other sampradayas. They are doctors. They're doctors. Yeah. All these Udupi, these guys with big tilak, they are doctors. The PhDs. Oh yeah. So Krishna cannot be underestimated. And so it's so important that we celebrate, we renew our shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Prabhupada every day. Because sometimes it's quite observable that we become very serious in our spiritual life. But then that enthusiasm wanes. So we should renew our contract, we renew our enthusiasm on every day by exercising some will to be able to associate with Prabhupada through his books, through his lectures, come for the programs, have devotees association. In this way, it seems like just a joke, coming and dancing and singing and all this stuff, sitting down and listening to classes. It looks like, a joke, but the purification is going on. Nastra prayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavati. So, feel encouraged, feel motivated to prosecute this part of devotional life so that we can also come to the level where we are indifferent to the challenges, to the environmental and it's a good time. So that we can become indifferent to the challenges posed by the external environment on our spiritual path. Any comments or questions? This is divinity of the personality of God. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by material qualities. Yeah, the other day, I was listening to, what is the name of this devotee who helped in the Gopi, is it Gopi Parandana? Huh? Yeah. He wasn't Govardhan. It left his body. Yeah, I was listening to this some of his presentation in Jiva Goswami's Tata Sandava, and that one of a series of those presentations, he was so sick, but he was present. I felt motivated. Yeah. So yeah, we have problems, but we should not allow the problems to overwhelm us. That's the point. These Goswamis, they couldn't even sleep for very few hours. But don't imitate the six Goswamis, have sufficient rest. Yes, any comments or questions? Devotee, the time being is released, usually from past, also still is considered to be Mahatma. Reported to have so my doubt is also like how we are being trained and following all the principles and we are seeing that if we don't follow, we are not properly following our action. If somebody not doing that, how we can maintain the same vision towards? Yeah, it's an important factor. The real thing is that in Bhagavad Gita 9:30, that's that text, yeah. Lord Krishna explains that If his pure devotee accidentally falls, accident, then no one should criticize him because he's properly situated. He's in devotional service. He gets rectified. But if someone, say, falls down and then he goes away, he doesn't get rectified. He carries terrible load. So the situation, the consideration is that of willfully. I mean, it's like in the legal system. If it's proven you killed somebody and it's proven that you planned it, it's called murder. Maximum penalty. Some countries, death penalty. Uh, but if the prosecution is not able to prove that it was willfully executed, it was planned, it means that they will consider it to be like an accidental killing. Yes, you go to jail, but it's called manslaughter. Or the exact legal system, they have different titles they give to this. But the difference is that one is not willful killing, the other one is willful killing. The one that is not willful killing takes a lighter punishment. So, a pure devotee who may have an accidental fall down, it does not leave devotional service. He's prosecuting devotional service. So Krishna doesn't consider it to be anything. He is situated in at lotus feet of Lord Krishna, situated in the Antaranga Shakti. The other person he takes shelter of Bhairanga Shakti. Two different things. So, but the best should not give us the impetus of continuing to be in sinful mentality or pensive mentality. We should have self-sympathy, self-compassion on ourselves, and try to utilize this lifetime. Don't plan to make mistakes. We should not use. You see, if I don't want to do anything, okay. If I don't want to do anything, I can give you a good reason, and you will sympathize with me. But I just don't want to do it. But I have so many reasons to give to you. Oh yeah, and I do this a lot, even in devotional life. If someone, oh yeah, because I don't know how to quarrel with people. Okay, so I can present my point in a very sympathetic, logical way. For instance, if I didn't feel like coming to your temple, I can give you a very good reason. Okay? And you will share my zeal. Okay? Yeah, so uh, if we don't want to follow anything in the scriptures, we have several reasons. We can always get a reason not to do that from another section of the scriptures. Because the Vedic liturgy is so broad. You want to eat meat? There is There are some part of the Vedic literature that, gives you the motivation, the zeal. And you can say, is there any Vedic literature? Is there any Vedas? Yeah, so we have to look at what is ideal in devotional service, what is recommended by the acharyas. And in that way, we prosecute the culture of devotion based on sadhu sastra. There may be difficulties, but we should not give in to difficulties. If we get overwhelmed by difficulties, we should not run away from devotional service. We should not jump off the airplane. If the plane is cruising through a turbulent zone, the pilot does not say, hey, it's very difficult, jump off the airplane. He says, buckle up your seatbelts. In other words, take proper shelter. So that's our position. We've seen a number of people, like I mentioned, that most of material nature have no object of worship. They wouldn't care about anybody. If you mess around, they'll do it. And you cannot blame it on Krishna. So we have to take proper shelter. We have to buckle up our seatbelts all the time. Because material world means we are cruising in turbulent areas. We are cruising, and our planes are cruising in turbulent areas. So it is important for us to understand that we are in devotional life, and devotional life is governed by Antaranga Shakti. So we should not allow the permutations of the gunas to unduly influence us, that we forget we are under the shelter of Antaranga Shakti. So yes, accidental problems might be there, but definitely we should rectify ourselves. Yes, any other comments? I was living in Delhi, and my friend asked me, so Maharaj, so you coming back in October? You come here. I went to his temple, Ajit Govind. You don't know him. Okay. His family, they are very close to me. I've been to his father's place in Agra and all these things. Yeah, so what's the question?
So my question is that, okay, living with the devotee atmosphere, trying to practice bhakti, and how that person repeatedly get engaged in sinful activities without any sense of guilt. But is just part like pretending to be a devotee because the atmosphere is provided Krishna consciousness. But the person is not taking and person secretly engaged in sinful activities repeatedly without any guilt.
Yeah. In some cases, we'll find that people may be even very serious in devotional life, and they run into difficulties. Now, the Bible mentions that as far as we are living in this material environment, this material atmosphere, yes, our temples, devotional activities are purely transcendental. But our consciousness is not always transcendental. Our consciousness is always not transcendental. We get influenced by the endogenous factors. Now, the gunas are endogenous and exogenous. They act from within and from without. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I mean, it's like an enemy that operates from outside and from within. If a robber is coming to break into your house, you're in the house, you can carry a gun. I like guns. You can carry a gun and shoot him or her. But if the robber is inside the house, it's very difficult to do. So the gunners, they are like robbers. They operate from outside, they come from outside, and they come from inside. They operate within our systems, and they are also operating exogenous or from without. So it's very difficult to predict the resultant effect of the operational variations of the gunas or the impact of it. So yes, devotional environment is supposed to give us shelter, but our mind and our senses, they drive us crazy. So take for instance, you're sitting down listening, sitting down in a class, and your mind, went to Delhi. For a long time, maybe for 5 minutes, your mind is in Delhi. Yes, you're sitting in a devotional environment, sitting in a class. And therefore, proper shelter of Lord Krishna, proper shelter of the sadhus, proper shelter of the spiritual master is so imperative. Our devotional life is based on mercy. Success in devotional life is based on mercy. When you're in the mercy of the devotees around, you're in the mercy of the spiritual master, you're in the mercy of Gauranga, Jagannath Baladev. And in as much as we strictly follow and not willfully engage or allow our minds to wander and engage in sinful activities, we'll be protected. And once we give into the wicked intentions of the mind, comes the problem. So yes, environment is very much favorable winds. I mean, it's like one may even be living in the temple and he goes or she goes for sinful activity. Yeah, we've seen that. I've seen some people who look very austere. They don't eat. They don't eat. Yeah, I've seen, this is lived experience. I've seen it. They don't eat. But in the night, they open their locker. There is a burger there. They're eating. There's some food in their lockers, you know. But the demonstrate to the devotees that they perform some austerity. I've seen that. This is not Purana, okay? So yeah, you live in a devotional environment, okay? But it's very influenced by the mind and the senses. Okay? So that's why I mentioned that the success in devotional life is based on mercy of the devotees, mercy of Krishna, and mercy of spiritual master. Mercy of the sadhus, Guru and spiritual Krishna. If devotional life is easy, we should not make it complicated. By serving the devotees, we can become purified. And to serve the devotees, it seems to be the most difficult thing because we're thinking, come on, I'm superior to you. Why should I serve you? Yeah. I'm thinking, I have a PhD. Why should I serve you? But yeah, to serve the devotees, this is the most difficult thing. That is the test of time. That is the litmus test. Yeah. And that brings a lot of purification. It sheds impurities of contaminated mind. All right.
So much mercy of the Guru is repeatedly coming to the temple has complete program. External environment is full of deception. A lot of mercy is there. But how to deal with people, those who are willfully polluting their internal environment, especially through internet, watching pornography, and then acting on the innocent devotees, all spoiling life of other devotees. They are willfully polluting their internal environment. So how to deal with them?
Yeah, Krishna will deal with them. You see, my consolation, and it should be our general consolation. You know, my consolation in devotional life is that whether you're a Paramahamsa, whatever you do, Krishna will kick your ass. Okay, let's see, it's a matter of time. Yeah, the modern age makes devotional, the modern digitalization and internet system is very good for research. It's not really good for everybody. See, I saw a message from my personal assistant in New York. She has a PhD in law. And so she's complaining. I'm not even responding. She said, I've not heard from you for a long time. Because normally I communicate with her. But see, I had a lot of problems in August. Okay. I don't want to scare people, but so I just avoided communication with many people. But now that she's complaining that I'm not happy. I'm trying to at least now I have access to the internet. So the point is that by being able to liaise with senior people, we get impacted by divinity. By being able to have association of senior people, we get purified. I remember when my Guru Maharaj was on the planet, and I was given some horrible type of service. So sometimes I really get confused, I got really mad, But when I get into those type of situations, he knows. Sometimes he'll call me in the dead of night, maybe in another country. He'll call me in the dead of night, and he will talk to me like 2 hours or something like that. And by the time he finishes talking, all my confusion and everything, my challenges is down. Association with sadhus. Yeah, so we should have association with senior people, sadhus. And we should have association with Prabhupada. We should read his books. We should listen to Prabhupada's lectures. Prabhupada's books are not different from his personality. So yeah, it is a big thing because even children, they're watching pornography. I remember the case of one boy. He was very sharp, 10 years old, but he was super sharp. Father and mother, they were IT personalities. They had their own company. The boy has finished reading Bhagavad Gita, he's finished reading Bhagavatam, he's reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the father became scared. The father became scared. This is from in India here, in Delhi. The father was the one telling me the story. Father became scared. So he stopped him from reading for them. They think the boy is going to be a brahmachari. Yeah, that was his fear. So he stopped him from reading, and he didn't engage him. So the boy started going to watch pornography. So he told me, I said, you spoil your son, you spoil the boy. Because he's an IT guy, so he takes the boy's computer and checks the websites he's been visiting. And that's how he discovered that he didn't watch or visiting pornographic sites. So these days, even teenagers, preteens, they have the opportunity to access the internet. And inside the internet, it's a good place. I use the internet for research. I don't go to libraries and all these things. But internet is also a very dangerous place for young people and even old people. I know people who lost their jobs because of pornography. Yeah. I know people who failed out from college. I know people who failed out from college because of addiction to internet. So yes, it's a big problem. And therefore, we should take the chanting seriously. We should be engaged in devotional life, devotional service, so that the mind does not drive us crazy to those dirty things. I mean, it's like a fly. A fly is attracted to stool. Always like a dog. I was watching a series of some program, and these days dogs can also talk. You know that? Oh, dogs can talk. They train dogs now; they can talk. So, but a dog is a dog. So here, the dog owner is talking dogs. They're very smart, very clever. Sometimes they will laugh. It's funny. I first saw that in Europe. But now America, there's so many dogs that have been trained to talk. So this gentleman, he left his dog and went out. So he came. He didn't find the dog, so he went to the bathroom and he saw the dog. He was drinking from the toilet. So he felt very, very offended. Very, very offended because the dog eats the same thing, whatever he eats. But the dog is a dog. He left him behind. He wanted to drink some water. He didn't find water, so he went to the toilet to drink from. So the guy he asked the dog, "Do you know what goes in there?" You know what the dog said? He said, "Yes." He said, "What?" He said, "Pee and poo." Pee means urine. I don't know whether in India you know that. Pee means urine. Poo means shit, stool. The dog said, the man asked, "What? You know what goes in there?" He asked angrily. He asked him first, "What are you doing there?" He said, "Dad, I'm feeling thirsty." And then he said, "Well, you know what goes in there?" He said, "Yes." He said, "What?" He said, "Pee and Who? Why blame the dog? You left the dog by itself. It's a dog. It's a dog now. It's attracted to stew. It's attracted to dirty things. So our minds also attracted to dirty things. Just like the flies are attracted to stew. So we have to understand we have a weakness. We can be attracted to negative things, things that are not conducive to our devotional life, and try to have good association, purify ourselves. We try to read, we try to chant nicely. When you have to chant, switch your phone off. Don't chant and keep your phone by your side to wait for calls to come in. You know, I was speaking this with some new friends in Faridabad, and this lady who came with her husband, you know, she was laughing. I said, "Why are you laughing?" She said, "What you say is so true. I've seen this in most of the temples I went." Yeah, she said. Her father's husband came with some people to Mayapur. So he's a retired government, big government official. He has some of his friends, he came with some of his friends to see the police chief in the whole of that state. So, but then she has seen this. We're trying to cultivate the father-in-law to take to devotional life. But then this daughter-in-law, she has seen it, and she was laughing that, you know, what he said is so true. He said she has seen it. So don't chant. We have phone, yes, but the phone is not Krishna. The phone is a distraction also sometimes. We have to control ourselves. We should try to control ourselves. Adanta Gopi, Vishatam Tamish. Bhagavatam says, the uncontrolled senses, the uncontrolled mind is the cause of all our problems. So we have to tame our minds and the senses so that we don't get driven into horrible walks of life. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.